Well, we've got these two cars loaded off the trailers today and pushed back here thanks to the big van. But let's go through what happened to these. First off, let's start with Cassandra's. 3 days before the demolition derby, I started this car up. It ran like a top. I drove it into the shop. I filled the rad with water. I did some spray foam action. You guys seen that stuff. Ran fine, everything. Day of the derby, we went to start this thing up and it had a dead cylinder. One of the coil packs crapped out on it. So going into the derby, she was already only running on 3 cylinders. So that is a massive setback. And whenever you give the car kind of fuel, it wanted to die. So it wasn't a very enjoyable ride for her. She made a couple good hits. She attacked me. I seen that. Some good hits against the front of this bumper, but yet it's still straight. What ended up taking Cassandra out is the driver's side motor mount ended up breaking. You see it broken off down there. I just have a come along wrapped around it so I can keep the motor off the ground. Again, she did break the plastic rad support, so that is definitely something that you need to look at these. And apparently that motor mount is something you also have to keep your eye on. But realistically, the passenger side took a little bit of abuse, but it's still straight. Nothing really kinked on it. Remember how we did not notch the back of this car? All we did was hammer down the frame rails. If you take a look, that's my hammer mark right there. It hasn't even started to bend yet. Yeah, the strut tower where it was rotted kind of folded a bit, but everything stayed real tight, real true, real straight. Nothing moved. No seams broke. So this car here, I'm hoping to put a new axle into it. I'm hoping to put a couple coil packs into it to make it run real nice, and obviously put a new motor mount into it. But we're going to do something a little bit different with the motor mounts. I think this may rerun in June at the Barrie Demolition Derby, so that gives me plenty of time to get it fixed and get it back on the track. Because the motor did drop about 5 inches, maybe more, it did rip the fuse panel out of the spray foam, but caused no damage, and that's what I like the spray foam for. It has give if it needs the give, so that way it didn't rip any wires out of it. So let's move on to my turd right here. Now this thing was running phenomenally. Phenomenal. It had massive amounts of power. If you guys watched the in-car video, my shifter knob flew off and I had to find it inside the car, put it back on the shifter. So that was a little bit of a setback. But my doors are gone. Both of them have folded in and the thing is bellying out like crazy. Everything's right into the gas tank protector. Remember, that was 2 inches off the floor when we built this, and now it's actually creasing and denting the floor across it. So that's pretty good. Rear seat pillars are 100% gone. When we pulled it off the trailer, we just wrapped a chain around this bumper to help drag off the trailer, but now with this I can unbolt this bumper and reuse it. So that's still a good solid bumper. Vision was still pretty good through the back of the car. All the tires are still straight, so I was able to steer where I wanted to go. Nothing really broke suspension-wise. The trailing arms on both sides did kink. I don't know if you guys can see inside there, but the tires are quite close to the body, but they're still not hitting, so that's a good thing. Again, here on the passenger side, both doors are just mangled. These little things here, we're going to take them off and keep them to see if we can move them to other cars. But I really like these. They help the car stay together. As you can see, the seams are splitting apart until you get to this. And then the seams are still really good. So I don't know if those helped a lot, but I think they helped. Now up here at the motor, what actually took me out was the thing that I was worried about most with these Mazdas, was this oil filter. They actually clearly snapped it right off the front of my block, and I lost all oil coming through here. Now there was another Mazda at the demolition derby, and the whole actual oil filter mount got snapped off. So maybe when it comes time next year, or when that thing gets fixed, we're gonna see if we can build a block off plate maybe. I'm not too sure, just to maybe take one more weakness out of this car. I'm not sure if this car's driver's side axle will work in Cassandra's, because this is a manual and hers is an automatic. But if you take a look, my mount is actually cracked as well. Now there's 3 arms, but one of the 3 is broken. So I was thinking maybe just take this one out and try to change it with hers, but after seeing that, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to build some custom mount and just consider it a fixed motor mount of some kind and see if I can get it to work, because her car is still in really good shape and it'd be a shame to get rid of that car or how it sits. It's got a lot of life left into it, and I was driving this thing hard. I was doing a lot of axle shots. It steered straight, it drove straight for having no modifications to any of the suspension, including tie rods, ball joints, struts, anything. This car performed amazing. And a little bit of kinks here and there. Like, I definitely don't like the rad supports. I definitely don't like the filter location, and I guess this motor mount's going to start giving me troubles as well. But we'll tear this car apart and send it to scrap, but we're going to use all the parts we take from this, either for my daily driver, because it runs almost all the parts, all the same coil packs, same starters, same everything. And we'll try to fix Cassandra's car up with the parts we take off the other one. But Cassandra's car still runs, which is very cool. The only downside is her car will not start in park. So I don't know if that's because the motor's fallen, maybe the computer's kind of screwed up. So there's park, and here's neutral. Even with the motor mount broken the way it is, this car still runs. And realistically, I think I'm going to fix this thing. It's still in really good shape. And like I said, if you can fix a car for under $50, then I always say it's worth fixing. This car here, realistically, I'm going to try to attempt to build a motor mount. I'm going to put maybe 2 hours into that motor mount. Hopefully come out with a strong steel one. And the axle, I might have to buy an axle, but a scrapyard axle around here is anywhere from 20 to 40, maybe 45 bucks. And I remove it myself. Well, I'll know how to do it, so that won't take me that much. But I'm really hoping this car gets another run out of it. It's very solid still, and I think she's going to run it again in Barrie. So keep your eyes open for some repair videos on this one, and definitely a tear down on that one, because there's no way I'm fixing a Siege motor. So that one's off to the junkyard. Had a good life, but you're dead. I'm happy that you're dead, though. Until tomorrow, guys, thanks for watching, and please leave a like or a comment. Tell me how you guys think I did. How do you think these Mazdas held up for being a newer car? And as I'm talking newer, these are like 05, 06, 07, 08 body style. And everybody thought that these demolitions were going to die with newer cars, but realistically, these are newer cars, and they're doing much better. Like, obviously, they won't stand up to a 70s Crown Vic or something, or sorry, a 70s roundback wagon, but for new cars against Hondas, Camrys, Honda Accords, Civics, even old celebrities, these will give them the run for their money. So take care, and see you guys back here tomorrow.